in these hard economic times, you think that it's a good idea for a man to take on a woman?
It's unfair to expect a man to provide more than 50% in a relationship in this economy.
I'm 51 years old and I have no retirement saved.
64% of all student loan debt belongs to women.
What happens when rising costs, debt, and economic pressure collide with modern dating expectations? Why are so many people struggling financially in 2026? And why are more men choosing to focus on their own financial survival instead of playing the traditional provider role? Stay with us until the end of this video, because this economic shift is changing relationships, dating, and expectations in ways few people predicted.
There's been thousands of comments just like this on that post that I made about not being in a 50-50 relationship, of women commenting saying that they have been able to save so much money since being single. And that's why I cannot accept the argument that it's unfair to expect a man to provide more than 50% in a relationship in this economy. Because while both men and women can work now, nothing can change the fact that it's always going to be the woman who gives birth. It's always going to be a woman who gets a period and not a man. It's more often than not going to be a woman who gets sexualized and harassed in the workplace. It's always going to be women paying the pink tax. It was 62 million men, not women, who signed up for that rape academy. 90% of violent crimes are committed by men, and it'll be these faux feminist men fighting for women's equality by making them pay the bill, rather than actually taking that energy and holding other men accountable. I know what you might say, oh, that's a bit of a far reach comparing men to all these rapists and violent criminals, but the energy behind all of it every single time is exploitation and entitlement. And the degree to which that gets exercised varies on a scale from mild to extreme. And asking women to pay for you in a 50-50 relationship and sacrifice all the earnings and savings that she could be making for herself is a form of entitlement and exploitation. So if you were to zoom out and take absolutely everything into an equitable point of view, not a single woman on this planet would ever be in a 50-50 relationship ever again.
The economy in 2026 is putting pressure on everyone. Rent is higher, groceries cost more, and financial security feels harder to achieve than ever before. For years, many people believed that financial problems could eventually be solved through relationships, marriage, or finding the right partner. But that assumption is becoming less reliable.
As someone who is literally climbing out of debt right now, I am going to tell you 3 things that I am promising myself after my debt is paid off to follow. Number 1 is stop using my credit cards. Literally, I'm not going to use them anymore, and especially not going to buy things that are way overpriced that I literally cannot pay off. Second thing is I'm going to watch where my money is going. Okay, there is literally no reason for me to get a coffee every single day and go out to dinner every single weekend. Third thing is to have a plan in case I do unfortunately get into debt again, because I used Ring Debt to help me get out of debt the first time and it worked perfectly. They used consumer protection law to challenge the debt that I had legally, and literally the only thing I had to do was answer 2 simple questions to see if I qualified.
A growing number of men are dealing with their own financial challenges. Instead of looking to support someone else, they're trying to build savings, reduce debt, and secure their own future first.
So I came across this. 64% of all student loan debt belongs to women. The average student loan debt for women in the U.S. is $31,726. But here's where it gets interesting. Women have a median annual salary of $56,170 following college graduation, which is 26% of what men can expect to earn following graduation. Now, what does this tell us? Okay, I take 3 things from this. Number 1, women are not getting into STEM fields. They're not getting into science, technology, engineering, AI, mathematics, STEM or STEAM fields. Number 2, gentlemen, you need to be asking women how much student loan debt that they have before you consider a serious relationship or marriage. Because the interest rates on the student loan debt, people could be paying this stuff for decades, okay? And the third thing is, even though less men go to college, they clearly expect to earn more as they process going through college. They clearly are going into college with a long outlook plan, whereas I think some women clearly aren't. Because if you know your median income is going to be $56,000, why in the holy hell would you go and take anything in college that's going to earn you less than the amount of money that you would need to pay off your student loan debt in 1 year? Okay, so at the end of the day, when we're talking about marriage and relationships, we have to talk about debt. an opportunity. And this has to be studied.
What makes this trend different is that many men are no longer willing to sacrifice their financial stability simply to meet social expectations.
So I just saw this post about a guy who refuses to propose to his girlfriend because she's got 90,000 in debt. He earns about 250k a year. He has no debt. So he's saying, let us sort out her debts first before I propose. Is he a bad guy for that? Honestly, I don't think so. Like, he's made an effort to go through life not racking up unnecessary debt. She's got her debt. Obviously, there's a context element. What is that debt? Is it student loan, consumer debt from credit cards? So I guess understanding where the debt comes from is going to be an important piece. But overall, I think it's fair. Like, then does he love her? Of course he loves her, but doesn't mean he has to take on her financial burden, especially if it's not one that was a necessary burden. It just came from carelessness. And because he's decided that he wants to spend his life with her, doesn't mean he has to take on his debts. But of course, that's my opinion. I welcome opinions. Drop it in the comments. I want to hear what people think about this. Maybe I'm too money-minded. I don't know. And by the way, I don't think, for example, if he said he's fine to marry her, I wouldn't say he's crazy to do that. It's a choice, but I don't think he's wrong to say I don't want to propose until she's sorted this thing out. Anyway, my name's Ayo. I do personal finance content. So if that's interesting, hit the follow button.
Many bachelors are choosing a simpler lifestyle. They're cutting expenses, focusing on investments, and avoiding commitments they believe could create additional financial pressure.
In 2026, every woman needs her own money. This is not optional. Have a job, learn a skill, build income that doesn't disappear when a relationship changes. This isn't about anti-love or anti-marriage kind of a thing. It's about reality. When a relationship funds a lifestyle you can't afford on your own, then that relationship owns you. Dependence limits your voice. Dependence limits your choices. Dependence makes it harder to leave situations that underpays you emotionally. This isn't about doing life alone forever. It's about entering relationships as a partner, not a liability. Don't become a liability. Love should add to your lifestyle, not be the plan for survival. So if a relationship ends and your entire lifestyle collapses, that was insecurity. That was a risk. Stability first, romance second. But a lot of you will put romance first, then start searching for stability later. Be smart.
Social media has also changed perspectives. Men constantly hear stories about financial disputes, expensive breakups, and long-term obligations, making them more cautious than previous generations.
If your husband or boyfriend disappointed you on Valentine's Day, it's your fault. Because in 2026, we don't need men. In 2026, when you put up with bad behavior from men, we see it as you choosing that you are allowing yourself to be treated poorly, because in 2026, you don't need them. And I'm going to give you a little bit of a pass because generationally, we were conditioned by society to believe that we needed men. And in fact, our mothers, grandmothers, and certainly our great-grandmothers actually needed men to survive. They couldn't open bank accounts or get homes without a man, but you don't. You don't. You don't need a man for anything. So why are you putting up with bad behavior? In 2026, when you put up with bad behavior from a man, it just shows that it's your fault, that it's a reflection of your low self-worth and you have no self-respect. Dump him. If you are continually disappointed and he hurts you and he brings terrible things into your life, dump him. You don't need him, dump him. You don't need him, dump him.
As a result, many men are becoming increasingly selective about relationships. They want partnerships that feel mutually beneficial rather than one-sided financial arrangements.
Yesterday I gotten so excited because when I checked my retirement plan, it said I had 30K in there. 30K, that's crazy. Of course my goal is to be retirement 1 million, 2 million, but to think that I got 30K in a retirement plan for a job that I started 4 years ago, okay, that's not bad. It's not bad. It's not bad. Here's where things got depressing for me, was that I realized that I got $30K in a retirement account and $150K in debt. The math ain't math. And if I was to retire today, I would be in the deficit $120K. As well as if I was to retire today, I would have to use that money to pay off my debt. The way I'm trying to get rid of this debt, I'm not hiding from the numbers. I'm not trying to gloss over the fact that I got it. I just want it gone. That's it. I just want it gone. So even though I am going to continue to contribute to my 401k, because I recognize that that's money for later, and my current circumstances is not my final circumstances, I really need to get this debt, because there's no point in having all this money for retirement, and when it's time for me to retire, I still got to use the money for debt. I need to retire with no debt.
What surprises some observers is that these men don't seem desperate for relationships. They're comfortable focusing on self-improvement, careers, and financial independence.
In these hard economic times, in these hard political times, in these hard, difficult, challenging spiritual times, you think that it's a good idea for a man to take on a woman? These same women who are getting online expressing how ungrateful they are, taking men's children away, putting men on child support, taking half of their stuff when they get divorced, just causing chaos in their life, causing drama. You act like, oh, because I have my genitalia, since I have this private part, I'm the prize. No, the prize is who's ever in demand, and women are not in demand anymore. There's way too many of us. We've gotten online and made it clear that we're way too easy, we're way too promiscuous, we do anything strange for a little bit of change. There's literally no incentive anymore. What is the point? It's all risk and little to no reward, and we get on the internet and we make it, we display it every single day. When you're taking on a woman, all you're doing is taking on challenges, and the main reason to still want a woman, which is to have children, half of y'all have gotten online and made it clear that y'all don't even want to be mothers anymore. Y'all don't want to have children. So what is the point? What is the point? What is the incentive? Why are we acting like we don't understand? Why are we walking around still thinking that we're the prize, thinking that someone should want us when we're not giving anything worth wanting? What are you worth that's worth wanting? What about you is worth the risk that you come with? When you're letting all these women online represent womanhood in such a nasty way every single day, and you're in the comments condoning it, instigating it, egging it on, yes girl, yes queen, waving your fingers, praising this behavior, and you're surprised when these men don't want you besides to sleep with you. And the funny thing is, a lot of them don't even care about that anymore. Before you go to yourself and have a pity party, I need a man, where's the man? Men aren't the same anymore. Ask yourself, are you worth it? I strongly doubt it. We as a whole are diminishing our value every single day, and it's over. It's a wrap. There's no undoing it. This is what you all have decided. This is what we have decided as a whole. Live with it. Deal with the consequences. Evolve. You've made it this way, so it's time to evolve.
The biggest shift may be psychological. Men are asking fewer questions about finding a partner and more questions about protecting their time, money, and future.
Women in 2026 are literally carrying everything, whilst men are out here living in that princess era. Women aren't just strong, they're exhausted. They're splitting the bills, carrying all the emotional weight, managing the kids, planning birthdays, remembering all the appointments while still working full time, but being told they're asking for too much. Meanwhile, men are wanting princess treatment. They want the peace, but they don't offer any protection. They want the submission, but don't provide any security, loyalty, but don't provide leadership, and they want admiration, but they don't provide any effort. This isn't about hating men. It's about calling out imbalance. When a woman is paying half of the bills and carrying most of all of that mental load, that's not equality, that's burnout. And the saddest part of that is she'll keep going. She'll keep sacrificing. She'll keep holding it all together till one day she realises she doesn't need a partner. She needs relief. And once she stops begging to be supported, she stops being available to be drained.
This isn't a protest. It's an adaptation. Millions of people are simply responding to economic realities by becoming more cautious with major life decisions.
I'm 51 years old and I have no retirement saved. I raised my girls by myself. I worked multiple jobs. I did everything right. I paid the bills, I showed up, I kept the lights on, and every time life happened, a car repair, a medical bill, or a kid who needed something, I pulled from wherever I had set a tiny bit aside, because that's what moms do. And then I took a $10,000 pay cut to protect my mental health because I was drowning. And somehow I ended up $10,000 in debt. Tell me how we can work this hard for decades, do everything we were told to do, and still end up near retirement with nothing waiting for us. And for a minute, I was embarrassed. What if people think I failed? What if they think I should have planned better? What if I'm too old to start something new? And then this is what I realized. The system didn't raise my girls. I did. The opinions didn't pay my bills. I did. And nobody's coming to fund my retirement. So if I'm going to build one, it's going to be me. If you're a Gen X mom sitting there thinking that you've worked all these years and feeling like you're very behind, you're not alone and you're not behind. And you're just getting started. We're not too old and we're not washed up. We are not going into retirement broke because we're too scared to try something different. If we could raise humans on survival mode, then we can learn a new skill. And this time, we're building something for us.
Whether people like it or not, the financial pressures of 2026 are reshaping relationship expectations. The traditional assumptions about dating, marriage, and financial roles are being challenged from every direction.
This might be a hot take, but 2026 is going to be the end of the soft life content and we are going to step into the female boss content era. Finally, we are all becoming way less male-centered. I finally feel like women are waking up to the fact that no man is going to come and save you. Having a man be the one who funds your lifestyle and can just take it away at a moment's notice, and being granted soft life by a man is no longer aspirational and is low-key a little bit embarrassing. Instead, what's going to become aspirational is women curating that soft life for themselves. And these won't be women who just do nothing all day. These are going to be true hustlers, are smart about making money and just really in their boss girl era. For example, I feel like entrepreneurs are going to see a massive spike in their numbers. Women in male dominated professions like doctors, accountants, lawyers, especially if they're women of color, because you just know it takes so much more to get into a successful place when you're a woman of color. Yeah, women who just depend on a man to fund their lifestyle is so out. Instead, step forward women who are curating the most amazing soft life all for themselves.
You can't tell me there's not a direct correlation between girls who spent their childhood with their nose in a book and unmarried women in the year 2026. The more dates I go on, the more I realize that the men I idolized as a child don't exist. I spent my whole childhood reading novels about men who not only were protective and kind-hearted good men, but who put the interests of their female counterparts first, who saw them as friends before they saw them as romantic interests, who not only listened to their opinions and validated their feelings, but wanted to make them feel secure and loved. And the older I get, the more I realize I would rather be single and continue to think men are good than to settle for a man who makes me realize every day that men are not good.
So here's the real question. Are modern relationships becoming harder because people can't find partners? Or because economic reality is forcing everyone to rethink what they truly want from relationships in the first place?
Men stopped playing by the rules, and now everyone's freaking out. Let's break down why silence has become the loudest move.